Yung sentiment ng marami sa ating mga kababayan, do you share that? Yung medyo naiinip din kayo, nabibitin, na tila medyo matagal-tagal na rin investigasyon pero parang wala pang malalaking isda ang nakakasuhan.
Actually, ano nga kasi relatively, kasi kailan ito pumutok doon sa, well, ang mismong nag-trigger is yung sa SONA.
Yeah.
Sa SONA ng Pangulo.
July.
Yung sabi niya, mahiya naman kayo. And then yung linabas niya yung listahan ng top 15 big contractors. So doon nag-umpisa. And then the creation of the ICI by issuing the EO 94. Now, medyo hindi naman I don't think it's really fair to say na masyado parang yung bakit ang tagal-tagal. Hindi naman ganon. At least yung nakikita ko yung pace ngayon ng ICI na several referrals na. Nakakailan na ba sila? Is it 8 or is it 9 referrals? So it's by batches. Ganun naman talaga. By batches. It's relatively okay. Na given especially the limited powers, the limited resources, the limited personnel of the ICI. Now, ang tungkol naman sa big fish. Kasi ang ano natin dito, comparison natin is yung sa Janet Napoles and yung Napoles and PDAFA scam na hinandle during my time. Nag-umpisa yan sa amin nung lumabas nga itong si Ben Horlo, yung whistleblower, doon nag-umpisa yun So nag-create kaagad ako noon ng special investigative team ng NBI. And then yung mga nakalap na mga documentary evidence plus the sworn statement ni Ben Horluy and a few others ay finorward ng DOJ NBI Special Task Force sa Ombudsman. Ng documentary evidence, marami talaga yon, yung mga galing sa DBM, yung mga galing sa COA. And then maganda kasi yung naging parang ano namin noon na mechanism because yung cooperation noon ng DOJ, NBI, and then Ombudsman and COA. You know, the Ombudsman, then Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, and then COA Chairperson Grace Pulido Tan. Tinutukan talaga namin. And then we had regular conferences and tracking the status of the cases. Kasi pagkagaling po sa DOJ NBI Special Task Force ay hindi naman kaagad-agad sinalang sa preliminary investigation because all of those evidence that were transmitted by DOJ NBI Special Task Force were subjected to further evaluation by the Ombudsman. And then, saka sila nag-conduct ng preliminary investigation. Now, ito kasi yung Napoles PDAFA scam, yung involved doon, 10 billion. So, katiting lang yun doon sa nakikita natin na billions and billions, 200 billion na ata, more than 200 billion. And then, involving a lot of personalities, several senators, and then several congressmen, and then you have DPWH officials. So mas marami ang mga iniimbestigahan. So and then naiinip ang mga tao because they really want na meron na kaagad mga makulong. Meron nga dapat tayong mga proseso. So relatively speaking, because nga as I said, kinumpare ko nga yung the amounts involved and then the personalities involved. So mas maliit talaga yung Napoles at PDAF scam cases compared dito sa flood control corruption cases dito. So, but then there's this commitment from no less than the president himself and also from the ombudsman that they will start jailing people before the end of the year, before Christmas time.
Okay.
So
yung dito,
yes, go ahead.
Opo, yung pinakahuling recommendation ng ICI ay of course may mga pinapakasuhan. Pero when it comes to the likes of let's say Jesus Cordero, Grace Po, sino pa ba, si Nancy Binay at saka si Mark Villar, referred for further investigation by the ombudsman. Nung nakita itong balita na ito, maraming kababayan natin iniisip, teka, bakit sila for further investigation, yung mga nagturo sa kanila o yung mga nasa ilalim supposedly, pinapakasuhan na. Parang talk to us about the difficulty of nailing yung mga so-called principles, quote-unquote, sa ganitong klase po ng investigasyon. Ano po yung kailangan?
Kasi kailangan talaga ay nandyan mismo yung evidence, nandyan mismo yung mga, not only the documentary evidence ang pinakaano ka dyan eh. More important than testimonial evidence are the documentary evidence na at least, you know, the signatures and then other supporting evidence, and then and then dito kasi sa cases na ito, di ba, yung mga sinasabi ng mga district engineers na yung mga nag-deliver sila, pwede rin yun because of credibility, depende na rin yan sa credibility of the story itself, and yung tie up doon mismo sa budget, yung mga insertions, yung mga projects na sila mismo yung mga proponents. And then, but that's it, yung being proponent per se, hindi ka agad yun proof na they benefited from the project. Kaya importante yung testimony ng mga district engineers na yan na nagsasabi na sila mismo ang naghatid ng mga alleged kickbacks dyan sa mga legislators. So iba-iba rin ang threshold actually ng evidence, ano yung gusto nilang i-prove, and then yung nila, yung mga insertions also, at what level, yung sa BICAM, and then is it during the committee level, during the plenary, or during the BICAM? Kasi mas questionable siyempre kapag yung mga insertions occurred during the BICAM compared to kung nasa committee. Kasi theoretically, there's per se, well, there's nothing wrong about being proponents at that level, because you know we're precisely reviewing the NEP, the one submitted by the executive, the National Expenditure Program. So Congress and individual lawmakers has the right actually to introduce certain amendments to the NEP. Pero pagdating kasi sa BICAM, that's another story. Nagkakaroon ng suspicions whenever there are changes there, and then we're not supposed to do that, and especially if there are allegations and proof about commissions, about kickbacks. So doon, so depende kasi kung ano yung supposed role ng particular lawmaker or lawmakers involved. Kasi doon sa PIDA, tungkol nga doon yun sa mga bogus na NGOs put up by Napoles. Now, when ombudsman tried to validate, wala naman pala yung mga projects na yon, yung mga NGO na yon. Just on paper, na there were those NGOs, supposedly the beneficiary of those funds na mga inallocate from the offices of these lawmakers, the senators, and also certain congressmen. But when checked by first by the investigators ng NBI, and then double checked by the field investigators of the ombudsman, wala naman pala yung mga recipients. So mas madaling na trace yon noon sa because we're talking here about also the bogus NGOs supposedly created by Janet Napoles, and then yun ang naging conduit ng mga funds na naging kickbacks or commissions by the lawmakers involved.
So kailangan talaga ng matinding whistleblower backed by other pieces of evidence. Pero dito kunwari, ang naituro lang, di ba usually ang kwento rito, hindi, nagbigay ako ng komisyon sa tao na ito, na alam ko tao siya ng politiko na ito. Pero syempre, sino ba naman tangang politiko yung siya mismo yung tatanggap po, di ba? Nung komisyon. Usually tao niya yung gagawa po nun, di ba?
Correct. Bihira naman yon na yung politiko mismo syempre mag-iingat din yung politiko na hindi siya mismo ang tatanggap noon. But
Opo.
kasi more often than not, in most cases, yun na nga, yung tao nila mismo sa opisina nila, whether it's the chief of staff or any other trusted personnel there. So in some of those cases, a couple of those cases, yung sa plunder involving senators, ang tinuro talaga ay yung mga chiefs of staff. And then ang problema pagdating sa Sandigan Bayan, may isang kaso doon na umabot lang sa chief of staff yung napakonvict. Right? So yung
Opo.
ano naman, na-acquit naman yung the senator involved. I really don't know what happened there pagdating sa trial. Bakit ganon na nangyari?